Let me tell you what happened. Now, when I finished that video, owner came by and picked up the car. No codes were present, no pending codes. I said, let's drive for a little bit. And he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and take it and try and get it inspected. Fair enough. Now, in all fairness, too, I have to admit when I'm wrong on some things. And it was just ignorant on my part to sit there. Well, I know I shouldn't have said, oh, well, because there's 2 incomplete codes, no, and this doesn't have an EGR, well, send it. And I did send it. And unfortunately, even though there was no codes there, that one pending code for the O2 sensor and circuit came back. No big deal. No big deal. Deep down, I kind of expected this Volvo to come back simply because I just didn't have 100% confidence in what I said in the last video. Well, what? Oh my gosh. Got to this car. He brought it back because it was a pending code for the O2 sensor connection issue. Now, when I just logged into it, because he went to go try to get it inspected, and the guy said, well, it's not going to pass because of the O2 sensor. Look at it. There's no codes present. All the monitors have went through, and there's nothing there. I'll tell you what, man. This has been like the story of my life for the past couple weeks. I would test drive everything, verify. Look at there. Nothing in there. No fault codes. Nothing pending. I would verify everything, drive dozens of miles, and as soon as the customer get it, boom, something happens. Let me get myself together. So when I got off the video that day, I felt like something wasn't right. I knew that there was a possibility that something can potentially still be present, even though there was no codes present, nothing pending, and also that connection issue with the O2 sensor on bank 1 wasn't present. There was nothing there. But as soon as he got the car, he said, I'm gonna take it and get inspected. That I want to say that next day or same day, he called back and said, hey Brad, the guy said it wasn't ready and that the oxygen sensor code was still there. I got to find that code so I can get it for you. But unfortunately, right now it's not there and it's ready for inspection. And unfortunately, well, I know y'all probably not going to 100% agree with me, but I did order and this was up with, I ran this by the owner and he was totally fine too. I got this off Amazon. Okay. I know like $50. These sensors are normally $200 plus. It's $300 in the parts store. So he was fine rolling the dice with this. I'm fine too. I knew for a fact we're dealing with the connection issue. I'm not going to sit there and question it. If there's something wrong, I'm the one servicing it. I'm fine with it. Okay. I know what we're dealing with. No big deal. All right. Let's get that straight. And I know it's just have a bad reputation. All right. So he went to, we ordered the sensor. We have it now, and we're gonna just go ahead and throw it in there. And it's just unfortunate that the issues transpired outside of my possession, even though I've driven this thing 100 miles and no problems. And the code, unfortunately, like the monitors for the 2 monitors went through yet. So he came by, I reset the computer and did check the connection. So what I did to diagnose this, it was dead in the water when he came by. That sensor was dead. So I took this one, brought it over to bank 2, plugged it in, and it started working. Plugged it back in on bank 1, and it wasn't working. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to question anything. The sensor's getting replaced tonight. Right now, it's getting replaced regardless. I don't want to deal with this anymore, even though it's ready for inspection. I'm going to replace this sensor, drive it tonight, tomorrow morning, and make sure no codes come back up and send it. That's all I'm going to do. There's nothing I can do about it, especially when this is such an intermittent issue. It could be a pin fitment problem, but again, that day that I didn't film it, I disconnect this one, brought it over to bank 2. When this was dead in the water, it came alive. Plugged it back in, bank 1 went dead. All right, so that's what I'm going with. I'm not dealing with this anymore. And we're going to throw a sensor in here. We're gonna live up. I don't think we're living up to my name. I think this is right. This is a totally justifiable part shooter special. And it's a simple replacement. Very simple. The car is, I mean, it was a legit fix. Everything worked out. It's just whatever's taking place. Whatever's taking place is just not. It's just not a satisfactory condition. It's a very accessible O2 sensor. I just simply need to get an O2 sensor socket. This joker here. I don't even have a part number. I had to buy a new one because I wound up breaking the last one. I got two 3-inch extensions. See if it'll break loose. Oh yeah, came out like butter. Very easy. I mean, you don't get no easier than this, besides replacing a 4-cylinder Honda or something. But this is the sensor. This was losing connection. The car was running rich. Remember when we diagnosed it the last video? It was running rich. The heads of them are different. No big deal. I don't even know what brand this is, to be honest. When we diagnosed this originally, it was running rich because of the map sensor. The only thing I can do in this case, just make sure a new code don't get generated because I got something cheap off of Amazon. Well, so I'm not able to 100% blame myself for it when the owner, we're both on board. Say there's a difference when people buy stuff on Amazon just to shoot a part at it and it's just a gamble versus knowing we're dealing with the legitimate situation and buying something cheap and rolling the dice. So this is what I'm doing. I'm completely aware of what I'm dealing with and rolling the dice. They're supposed to go there. But it's fine right there. All right, let's start it up and see if the sensor starts to generate some milliamps. And there's no check engine light. Here's our live data. There's our current for bank 1 sensor 1 and bank 2 sensor 1. So it's working. Where's our voltage? I'll probably overlook it. So lambda value. I mean, the main thing is it's oscillating. Our fuel trims. That's the biggest thing, and it wasn't stuck at 0.999 like before. There's our short term, long term. So we're fine here with our fuel trims. Short term, they're irrelevant. -2 on bank 2, -2 on bank 1. So we're working. Only thing I'm gonna do right now is just drive it. Today I gotta go to the parts store, and I mean honestly, if it's fine. No code get generated, I'm done with it. I mean, there's no codes present. I can't do anything if there's no codes present. The vehicle eventually got satisfied, or no, I don't want to exit. The vehicle eventually became satisfied with the sensor itself that was in there, but I just need to make sure it's satisfied with this current sensor. So let me just drive it on a 15-20 mile loop, and we'll go from there. Turn this radio on here. Just came back on a test drive. I went about 30 miles driven. Let's see if there's any codes present. which there shouldn't, right? Right, so there's no codes present with the new sensor on there. And no point in looking at the vehicle status or incomplete monitor readiness, but let's just check vehicle status anyway, and it's still ready for inspection. So this is fixed. How do I feel about, I don't think I threw a part at it. This was just an intermittent issue, and it could have been just the connector problem, legitimately, but I don't think it was that, simply because I was able to take one, plug in the other, and it worked, plug in the other one again, plug in the original one, and it failed. So it was stuck. So it was sticking, hanging up in some form of fashion. I can't explain it. I'm not going to sit there and question it, but logic, you put in one and it works, you put in the other one and it don't work, just like a light bulb. You screw in a light bulb and the one works, you screw in the other one and it works and half-ass work and don't work. Well, you know that bulb is broken, and that's essentially what my reasoning behind replacing the sensor is, throwing one at it. And it was the Amazon one for $50 versus $300 in the store, and I'm fine with it. The customer's fine with it. If anything happens, I can simply just warranty it out if there's still a warranty on it, or just buy another one. We still come out on top, and it's just simple replacement. You know, these kind of cheap part repairs off Amazon only benefit the person who's repairing it themselves. It's because the client's got to pay for it. But being that we're on the same page, he's fine with it. I'd be more than happy to throw 3 sensors at it, you know, for something so simple and easy to access, assuming that it don't work. You know, we still come out on top. So I'm fine with it. He's fine with it. We're all fine with it. And evidently the vehicle is also fine with it at the moment. So as far as this saga, getting this vehicle inspected is ready. We had a map sensor. We had some wiring issues with that. I did just a basic oil change. We had some lean codes. Got that resolved by resetting adaptive values. And we had our intermittent code, which ultimately resolved itself, but I still put another sensor in there. So the light's off. I'm happy. We're all happy. And I'm hoping y'all happy. So, hey, look, if anything happened, I'll definitely update, because I highly doubt this damn thing's going to come back, because it's test driven. Why would it come back? There's nothing that I test drive comes back, right? So hit that link, subscribe channel, stay informed, have that reassurance on my work. See you next one.